Hello, students, and welcome to our lesson on the Civil War. Today we're going to talk about the causes of the Civil War and the differences between the North and the South as far as resources and industries. So, starting with the causes of the Civil War are many. States' rights played a considerable role. As the United States began to grow, territories began petitioning to become states. The southern states relied on slavery as labor. The northern states did not have slavery and were more industrialized. Politicians in the North and South began heated debates in Congress as to if a state should enter into the Union as a free or slave state. This conflict reached a boiling point in 1860 when, after Abraham Lincoln was elected President of the United States, Southern states began seceding from the Union. A Confederate cannon was shot at a Union-held Fort Sumter, and the Civil War began. Now, of course, this is a brief interpretation of the causes. There are many causes of the Civil War, but really what it boils down to is states' rights. And the South wanted the right to have slaves and utilize slavery in their economic system, and the North was firmly against slavery. And as new unions began to enter into, as new states, began to enter into the Union, um, the South began to petition that these should enter as slave states, and the North petitioned they should be entered as free states, and there was a conflict that arose regarding that because of basically representation in the government would be weak for the southern states who were agrarian and didn't have the population to merit the representatives in the House of Representatives so that they can actually be equal and compete on the political stage. The North was an industrialized land with many factories and rail lines. In this regard, they had a great advantage over the South. However, many Union troops did not want to participate in the war early on, which caused the North to lose many key battles at the war's inception. Pardon me. And as you can see here, we have factories, pictures of factories of the North. As you can see, they're quite industrialized. They have rail going right from the factories to other parts of the nation. You can see the black smoke coming out, and this is again in the late 1800s. This particular image is quite interesting. This is Colt Factory in Hartford, and it was a huge participant and gun maker during the Civil War. And here's a mining operation in the north. I think it's in Pennsylvania. And again, it shows the might of northern industry. The South, on the other hand, was mainly an agrarian society with little industry. The South, however, felt they were correct in seceding from the Union, and their independent spirit and sheer will made them better soldiers. This was a great advantage of the South. Severely lacking in resources, the South used this spirit to fight for what they believed in, stretching the war out for 5 years. As we can see by the photographs, the South is an agrarian society mainly, and they were run by the government, and the politics were basically controlled and run by large plantation owners. And they had slaves that worked on the plantation, as you can see here by the middle photograph. And cotton, along with many other crops, cotton was a big source of revenue for the South. As the war continued on, the South had many victories at the beginning, and then all of a sudden, uh, the Battle of Gettysburg was the turning point for the South. Battle of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania was the turning point of the war. The battle raged for 3 days from July 1st to July 3rd in 1863. Both the Union and the Confederacy suffered huge casualties. This battle, however, crushed Southern forces to the point of no recovery. The Confederacy lost every major battle after and since, and soon loses the war. Actually, they lose the war 2 years later, so it was a long, drawn out ending to the war with many lives. The end of the Civil War. General Robert E. Lee of the Confederate States of America surrendered to Ulysses S. Grant at the Appomattox Courthouse in Appomattox, Virginia. The year was 1865. The Civil War ended slavery in the United States and preserved the Union. The Southern plantation culture suffered a severe blow and almost disappeared, but still holds on to this day. And here we can see the courthouse in Appomattox, which still exists and is a national historical site. Here we have Ulysses S. Grant in the Union blue and the Robert E. Lee in the Confederate gray. There's many other photographs of this famous meeting, and a lot of them do not photographs in pictorials in depictions of this. And this particular one image makes it look like Lee and Grant are equals, as I believe they are. Other photographs made Lee look conquered and weak. And here we are, the blue and the gray. Let us have peace. Your assignment for tonight, kids, along with this PowerPoint, taking notes on the PowerPoint, is to go to YouTube and type in History Channel America, The Story of Us, E5 Civil War. Watch the 40-minute video. It's all about states' rights, and we're going to have a discussion about states' rights and an activity concerned with that when you come to class tomorrow. So, have a great evening and happy watching.